Cardenas, and this is the Indy Real Estate Market Weekly Podcast. Today, we have a special guest on the show, Stacy Barry with Century 21. We have Kyle Morris with FC.Tucker and Shelly Walters with FC.Tucker. Hey, everybody, how's it going? And how's it going, Stacy?
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Hope you're doing well.
It's weird out. I was talking to my wife about it this morning. It's February, and it's been like 60 a couple times.
It's beautiful.
And I kind of want snow,
but
I'm afraid to say that I want snow because I like the 60 degrees.
I keep saying I'm still ready to go sledding, so one snow would be awesome.
It'll come in April.
Well, there's probably going to be a lot
Tourney
of
time.
people.
We're getting ready for tourney time. That's when we get our
Well, that's exactly right. But, we got a lot to talk about on the show today. The real estate market is really changing. We're starting to feel it. Interest rates just spiked up a little bit, okay? We're at the 6.5 to 6.875% range, subject to loan to value and credit score. That's for a high credit score right now. Lower credit scores, you're going to be tapping at 7. But I always read Inman, and I read the housing report. I read it every day. And there's an article that came out last night by Gary Keller of Keller Williams. Look, if you're an agent in the market today, you better be doing all of the things that you did 5, 6, 10, 15 years ago to keep yourself connected to the opportunity for buyers and sellers, okay? It's going to be a little bit different of a market. As we said on the show last week, we're getting list price on some houses. I don't believe all of them. But the bottom line is we're going to have a shortage of inventory, higher interest rates, and the higher interest rates are one thing, but it's still not going to stop a buyer from buying a house that needs to buy in this market right now. And you're going to have some people saying, hey, I can get some good money out of my house right now, okay? But you got to think, are they going to get rid of a 2.5% interest rate to go to a brand new 6.5 to a 7? I do believe some people will do that because the smart person says that's only going to happen for a couple years and I can refinance my property and get back to a 4, okay? So, Shelly, let's kick this off. Let's talk about the current market right now.
Well, you were talking about the houses are going at list, maybe not all of them. Right now, we're looking, again, we always do this, the past 7 days. And so we're looking at the past 7 days and the pendings. And we're seeing days on market go down to 1, 2, and 3 again. We're also seeing
for the new houses that hit the market.
New listings, yes. So the amount of inventory hitting the market right now is lower. We do these stats every day. We've done them for a couple years now. So we're just seeing that the inventory is not coming on like it should. Is it seasonal? We have all these different things, but I'm just saying in 30 days we're going to be able to see what these pending stats are showing us.
Exactly.
List to sale ratio, because we can't see that right now. We can't see anything that hasn't sold and closed.
Yeah, but last week you said you were getting into a bidding war. Stacy, I just talked to you before the show. You two guys were talking about, are you getting in some bidding wars a little bit?
All of the listings that I've currently put on this year have gone for list price or higher, to be honest.
And what price point are you kind of dealing with? And are you in Fishers? Are you all over Indianapolis, Indiana? Tell me what you're selling.
Right now, I would say the market I've put on with regard to listings have been on the north side. 350 to 650 are just hot as can be. Going off of Shelly's comments with regard to inventory and what you said earlier, what I also think we all are seeing different in the market is it's not just the locals who aren't willing to give up maybe those rates.
Absolutely.
Some of them are, but the influx of people have not slowed down to move to Indiana and specifically, the metropolitan area of Indianapolis. So they're giving up some of these higher rates and cost of livings for other states. So coming here, they feel like they're still saving.
It's funny you said that because just last night it was talking about on the world news, like different places to live, and people are moving. Our neighbors in Illinois, they're moving to Indianapolis, Indiana metro area, whether it's Hamilton County or Marion County, because of just the property taxes.
Oh, we've
been
that
saying
so
that for a
granted.
couple of years.
Right,
yes.
I got a buddy of mine that has about a 750 home up in outside of Chicago. Okay, and it's 750. It's a small deal. And his property taxes, I'm telling you right now, I'm not making this up. His property taxes are damn near $30,000 a year on a 750 home. I don't want to live California's not that bad, I don't think.
No, well, and especially too, I'm seeing a lot of the 55 and uppers coming to be more close to their grandkids,
Right.
and they were on a fixed income, and these property taxes are killing them. So
Right.
they're coming here where they're able to help their families and honestly save money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I had one agent last year, I'm not going to say the person's name, that did an ad on one of my pages, Carmel Social Media or Chatter, I can't remember which one it was. And the bottom line is they did an ad and they ask about people moving here. And it's incredible the amount of people from Illinois that join my page every week that are thinking about moving here, and they want to learn about Carmel and Carmel Chatter. So they get on both of them. But it says Illinois and their zip code. And the reason is they do say exactly what you just said, Stacy, grandkids, or they're moving here because it's cheaper to live here, property taxes. You do get a little bit more value for your home.
Well,
and I know you deal with them, Shelly.
Well, also the thing is that everybody's been able to go remote, or a lot of people have been able, so they've been able to choose where they want to live and still do the same job. So, pre-COVID, before this really became a thing, you didn't have the opportunity to say, I want to just up and move because you had a job. That was tying you to the location. Jobs are not tying people to locations anymore. And I think really when you get down to the point of it's $30,000 a year, you may give up that job. It's just like the cost of living.
Cost of living is so cheap.
It's just impossible.
I mean, moving in Indianapolis, Indiana metro area, whether it's Hamilton County, Boone County, or whatever, a guy is paying $30,000 on his taxes in Illinois, moves here and buys the same house. Hell, he just made money.
He just made $23,000 a year in income. Yeah,
let alone like just the property taxes. So I dealt with a lot last 2 years with I dealt with some Illinois, Chicago people. I dealt with more Texas and New York people from all over New York, not just like New York City, but like, Buffalo, all types of stuff like that. But even like my wife, she got a promotion and it's in Philly, right? And we live here, and then just once a week of every month, she goes out there for like 3 or 4 days, but it costs of living. Like, I can't imagine what would happen if we moved to Philadelphia, right? Like, I mean, the cost of living is so ridiculous.
Help to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were you going to say, Stacey?
Well, I think a lot of people still are having like COVID PTSD, whether it's they were in a house without a yard or they were just in a house in a neighborhood they didn't love. But the other big thing I've noticed with a lot of people relocating in from all over the country is the schools. They are so scared that these schools one day could shut down again. And we were fortunate, whether you believe it or not.
We were very fortunate for Hamilton County.
And our kids were in school
and Marion
more than most in the country. And I think a lot of people moved here for that. They also saw what happens in a community that doesn't come together or, put some of those beliefs first. And so a lot of people sold for those reasons. And, I think there's no amount of money that people will pay to make sure their kids are always in the best position to get an education and to stay in school.
Well, that certainly is Hamilton County for one of the better schools in our market. I'm telling you.
But it causes the argument too, though, of like people who are local of like, oh, look at what's happened to the prices, right? And it's like we have been so blessed and taken for granted the situation that we have here, and other people have kind of found our secret, so to speak, and I mean, we have an influx of people. We really do have it made in the shade here, quite honestly. Our cost of living, I know it's gone up, but it's still lower than probably, 40 of the 50 states.
Well, I believe that you're right, but let's shift over for a little bit. Then let's run into the stats right now. And you sell a lot in Fishers, am I right, Stacy?
Sure, yeah.
Well, let's talk about her stats.
Okay, so I'll go into them, and I'd like to pick her brain on it because.
Right. Well, first let's go through the stats, and then we'll talk about it.
So Fishers, we had 15 go on the market, anywhere from 265 to 1.1, basically 1.2 million. 7 of them are still active. 8 of them pended. However, 31 actually pended last week. So 15 went on the market and 31 came off the market. So we only have 60 active in Fishers right now.
Right.
Down from 73 last week.
Okay.
Right. Days on market basically stayed the same. It's at 35 days on market.
The traffic's there. I can tell you that.
It is. So, but I mean, the past couple of weeks we've been seeing inventory go down by like 2 and 5, and it's just been a trend that we're going the wrong way. I mean, Noblesville wasn't the same case, but I mean, that's not a small amount to go down 13 total.
Right.
As we're rolling out of Valentine's Day and we're getting close to the spring season. We got spring break coming
right
up,
around
all
the
this
corner.
stuff. It's a lot. I mean, I know we have quite a bit coming on the market here, like mid-March and stuff like that. I just think there's too much of a deficit for it to like significantly impact some of the demand that's out there.
So what was that, Fisher's correct?
It was. There's only 60 active on the market right now.
So what
Fishers.
you're saying and what we're seeing is 2 times as much maybe are selling over what's coming on the market, and at some point that's going to just deplete everything unless we get more people putting their houses on the market, period.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to see a slower growth in the beginning, but I think people are starting to understand that the 2.5% rate, the 3.5% rate, they have got to understand. And I think anybody that's got the right mind and knows a little bit about business, they're gone for a while. Okay, so we are back into a normal market. All right, give me Noblesville. What do we got?
Noblesville only 15 went on the market, which is low. It's really, really low.
Yeah, it is.
11 of them are still active. 4 of them pended. 15 total actually pended last week. So that was just a straight wash, right?
Yep.
71 total on the market. Their days on market is really off
What's
compared
the
to
price?
last week. From anywhere from 210 to basically 1 million. Their average days on market is 66 right now, but there was quite a few that pended from August and stuff like that. So it's a little skewed. But Noblesville has kind of been trending pretty high on average days on market anyways. So even when like Fishers and Carmel's was like around 30, they are more like around 40, 43. So I would say that's probably, if you remove the outliers, you're probably around the 40 range right now.
So you got Fisher's, Noblesville? Mm-hmm. Okay.
But to Shelly's point though, this is, the stuff that's been sitting on the market is causing this to go high because the new stuff is actually selling pretty quickly.
Well, and I just think that's where we were slow. We talked about this on this podcast for the past 3 months. November and December was a kind of a slow time, and then January, we are now seeing, is this seasonal? What's going on? But all those houses that were put on in November, December, January that are still available, they're all going.
Right,
so
right.
what we're seeing is there wasn't a lot of buyer activity compared to what we're going to see now. The buyer activity has picked up. It's almost March.
Right.
So once all the old listings are cleared out that we're setting because the buyers just weren't out because of seasonal issues, there are going to be just these houses that are hitting the market.
Right.
We're back to I just picture it, listings on Thursday.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Offers due till Sunday.
But here's the
and
thing.
then I'm just going to finish.
Right.
So I'm going to say that we are back to potentially these houses hitting for the 4 days, just like we were 2 years ago.
Sellers be out of the house.
Some of these buyers should have jumped in and bought some of those houses then.
Shoulda,
for a
woulda,
simple
coulda.
fact. Right. But the bottom line is the interest rates were better.
Well, we can't do anything now. We're moving forward,
I know
and this
that,
is
but
where
I'm
we
just
talk
saying
about the stats.
Right. Everybody thinks they can start reading the market. Let me tell you something. You see a house that you like, call your realtor, okay, and buy the house.
The listings, I'm just going to say, we were talking about the rates. The offers are going, I know this personally, in Carmel houses around $600,000. There were 35 people going out and looking at this one house, so 12 offers.
I'm selling my house
So
tomorrow.
we're just saying that went over, and I'm telling you, I don't know what the final price was, but we're above $40,000 list,
That
above
is
list.
crazy.
And there was 3 in that price range.
Okay.
3 in the price range, so we are back to 2 years ago, in my opinion, 100% full force.
Okay.
New construction's having a big impact on this as well.
Yeah.
I
Well,
do
I
a lot
know-
of new construction, and I personally think the numbers in Noblesville are always a little bit higher. Days on market has always been a little bit longer. But what I have found to be interesting is the Fishers numbers are lower, and I think it's also because those people who are living there, the new construction in Fishers has really slowed down. There's not the development with regard to as many of the
Did you see
neighborhoods.
did you see the new builds on your Fishers counts? Did you do that?
I did not do it this week. It was a lower number to her point,
Well,
though. They don't have anywhere to build it.
Well, so they don't have anything. That's where Carmel and Westfield, they do still have
Right.
more
We're going to talk
development.
about Westfield builds. I'm glad you
Okay.
brought that up. Because,
I have the stats here. It's crazy.
Let's start off with Westfield right now.
Okay,
So stats, and then I want you to touch on, and you guys talk about the construction.
Well, in Westfield, we've been saying this for months.
We have.
Westfield new builds are very high. So Westfield, only 19 hit the market.
Right.
6 of those pended. So the days on market in the past 7 days in Westfield, the average was 28, median is 10. That is showing me that median is what we're seeing as the most recent houses, because the average shows us houses that have been on the market too long.
How many's construction?
So the median is going down to 10. So 13 of those were new builds. So if you take away the new builds
Right.
of that, so the median days on market were 9, average 11. So current complete active homes in Westfield, 132 92 are new builds.
Right.
Most of them not even out of the ground. So there's only 40 resales.
So let's talk about the new builds for a minute. You bring that up every week. Okay, these builders go out there and they just put them out. There's nothing there except for a piece of dirt, right? Are you selling off of those, Stacy, or have you been selling off of stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean,
that's not even poking in the ground.
Well,
yet?
I think we've all seen it shift where, especially during COVID, if people were wanting to build, they didn't even get to pick their lot. We were doing lotteries where
Right.
it was getting in line just to see if you get in the neighborhood. Now, all of a sudden, a year later, they could maybe pick their lot in their floor plan. The builders then kept going where they were progressing the neighborhoods. And I have seen a shift in that where the builders they are having a few incentives, nothing huge. But what I have noticed is they're not putting a lot of their stuff into our MyBor system.
Right.
So I think our numbers are going to be skewed some because they've gotten so used to trying to not need realtors as much.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
it's
think
definitely
that's-
circling back where
it's
I think
definitely-
if you
Right.
pull new build numbers in 3 months,
I mean,
your
I
new
think
build's
that's going to
gonna be
hurt
higher.
them a little bit from what they did in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. So the bottom line is, I am on some websites last night, and it's incredible the amount of advertising Pulte is doing in this area. I mean, it's almost where you can't read an article, okay, because their ads are coming up, and they're starting to come out with promotions, and they wish they probably had 300 realtors walking in their door today. So did they shoot themselves in the foot a little bit? They did. But the bottom line is, I think there's plenty of opportunity, and people don't understand this, and we said it on the show last week. Get yourself a realtor if you're building a home. When you walk into the sales, I don't care what I really don't care what you guys think about what I'm getting ready to say. People think when they walk into a sales
The model home.
and buy a home that they're getting everything. They're not getting everything.
I
And it
agree
doesn't
with that.
cost them, huh?
I agree with that.
I know,
yeah.
but it doesn't cost them anything to call a Shelly or a Kyle or a Stacy to walk in there, go through the list with them, understand what they're doing, and then go through the procedure of, 5 times, 6 times as a house is building, and make sure they got everything that they can get. They don't understand it because I did it 4 years ago. I've done so many real estate transaction deals. It's unbelievable. But I'm going to tell you something. I did not build a home. And I got caught thinking, why didn't I see this coming? And it wasn't fun. I just needed somebody to talk me through it.
Well, everyone
So
needs an advocate.
I know,
I mean,
but so I didn't lose my mind. I needed somebody to walk me through this thing, to calm me down, and I didn't have that person because I had to deal with the salesperson, and then after the salesperson checks you off, you're done because now you're with the construction team. You know what I'm saying? And nobody has an advocate. Exactly what you're talking about.
I got into real estate because of my experience with new construction, actually.
Wow.
What you said is, I think, so good about the lottery situation. If we look at 8 to 10 months ago, a year, and where we were in the lottery situation where you had to get in line and there was only going to be 5 available, and then it's going to be another 4 or 5 months before the next 3 are available. We now have 92 new builds available in Westfield. That is such a huge transition from 0 to 92 in 8 months. It's like, so they're putting them out there, and if you want to do a new build, that's very much available. But a lot of people don't. They don't want to do that. So we're back to, in Westfield, 40 available that are resales between whatever price point. So now we get down to, I always say when we want to narrow into, how many are in the 200 to 300? 2. How many are in the 300 to 400? 5. So there's just nothing. So if you're a seller, we're just saying you're going to be able to sell your house. I know maybe you're trying to figure out where am I going to go, but all that stuff. But the resales is really where it's at, because there's not that many people. What do you think the percentage is of people who want to build a house?
And wait 9 months. And you got to list I mean, unless you can buy it non-contingent, most people have to put their house on the market within 30, depending on the builder, 30 to 90 days of starting it.
Okay.
Well, I think it can benefit those people, though, who a lot of people don't want to wait, where a lot of the big builders have kept going. Like now they just keep releasing the specs and the move-in ready, where it's still hard right now to find a full new build.
Oh, yeah.
In anywhere.
Okay. So, hey, let's go with your stats. Let's run through them real quick. And then,
so in Carmel, only 14 were activated in the past 7 days. 8 of those pendants, only 6 still available. Currently on the market right now, 73, 34 are new builds in Carmel, so only 39 are resales. And then for the solds, for the past 30 days in Carmel, there have been 58. So again, only 14 hit the market, but 58 sold. So we, just kind of look at that. 7 of those were new builds. So the average days on market were 49. Median was 36. They are coming down. The average days on market are coming down. So what we can't see right now is in 30 days the solds, those are closed. What we can't see is these past 2 to 3 weeks what they're closing at, list to sale ratio, how many days on market.
Right.
So what I feel is when we talk about the past 30 days of sales, that is such old data. And to really get the true data, we just in our MLS system, we do not show active data and pending data, truly what we need to see the future. So looking back 30 days, it's just old information. In Zionsville, it's 13 days, 13 houses hit the market, 5 sold, 6 new builds. 34 are currently active in Zionsville at all price range. 13 of those are new builds, so 21 available resale. In the past 30 days, 20 have sold. The average days on market, and this is where I talk about the average days on market, we're looking at houses that happened and have been on the market for maybe 6 months. Median's 14. So if you look at the average and the median, that is showing our days on market are coming down big time.
All right. Well, hey, let's talk about mortgage rates. We're going to touch on it just a little bit, okay? Right now, if you're at a 780 credit score and 20% down purchase, I'm telling you right now, if you're lucky, you will get 6.75, and that is on a 30-day lock. If you are under 760 credit score, 760 or under, 759 or under, okay, you are definitely hitting right at 7.125. It's here. Okay. And, who cares about the 15s and 10s? That's not your major buyers out there. Okay. But the 30-year kind of dictates what's going on. Your 2-1 buy downs could be popular for people buying a house. But when you're getting to the top level of negotiating over on a price and house, I doubt that person's going to get any credit to buy that right down, not unless you build it in. That's the only way to do it.
I'm just going to say this out loud. All those concessions we were telling buyers,
get
out there,
in our town,
enjoy it. Get a buy down, be able to do inspections. I just want to say it out loud. It's gone. I just feel it is. There's houses that's going to be able to be a possibility, but the houses hitting the market right now.
And the 5 and the 7 and the 10-year arms are so high right now. You might as well go with a fixed rate. Okay, It doesn't make any sense.
But if something's been on the market, so I don't want to discourage everybody. So if you've been on the market 20 days, people are always freaking out and they're like, "What's wrong with the house?" and blah blah blah. Like it could have been overpriced. Write an offer on it. You can still get all those things because, like, that's why those houses are selling. They're selling under list. The stuff that is like the old inventory. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with it. They may have missed the mark. It may have been. Usually that's what it is, right? Price and location is what pretty much determines whether something sells for the most part here locally. So I'd encourage buyers who need those things, like, let's go back out and look at stuff that's been on the market 15 days and see, like, can we make this work? Is it just need some lipstick? A lot of times it's just shows poorly or aesthetics or something like that. And we're willing to take a run at it.
The listing time, like we said, January, December, it was just slower then. So now they've got the days on market on them. So potentially.
Well, I think there was such a negative era going on with
couldn't have
the
said it
news.
any better.
I mean, that's partly it was the scare tactic for the first 6 weeks of the year. I think we were all kind of buckled down to see what would happen. And I just told my husband, I'm like, gear up, because it's busy. It's listings are coming, buyers are out there. Don't watch the national news because locally we are not going.
Well, that's exactly right. We're not California. We're not different parts of the United States, and we always say that on the show. We got a good metropolitan area right here where you're going to get a fair price on a house, even though if you have to pay list price or $5 or $10 grand over. It's hard for me to believe, but I know you guys are right. I don't sell houses. I just look at data, do the podcast, and work in the mortgage field a little bit. But the bottom line is, if you were to tell, we're going to end the show right now. If you were going to tell somebody if they were getting ready to buy or sell a home, what would your piece of advice be?
My piece of advice would really be, to slow down. I mean, we're not just throwing them on like we did for the last 3 years. They are selling high. You are going to get a fair price, but I still think it's important to go through the process and do it the right way. Like, make sure you have a realtor that explains to you how your house should show, explains to you how it should go, what's really happening with the market, because it will just be a much more pleasant experience and it will go smoothly for you and it will end well. I think so many people have just been running around and just
Right.
throwing out offers or listing their house, and it didn't go well for people. Like, we build our business off relationships, and hopefully the people we work with do too. I think it's important to make sure have all your ducks in a row, and also for one of those things, if you are a buyer, I mean, do consider new builds. I mean, they are offering incentives, they are doing buy downs, so make sure you meet with someone who can advocate for you and really just provide with you all of the options and resources that you're going to need. We're back to that.
Okay, thank you. Shelly, what do you got to tell somebody?
That was just fabulously said. And all I have to say is it's really setting expectations and being with a real estate agent who understands what we're talking about and what we're dealing with, because the listings and the buying process is not just the 1, 2, 3, here's how it goes. It's so much more information and so much more background of what you need to know
Gotcha.
to list that house, to be able to sell it, like you said, in a non-stressful situation and a bad outcome. For buyers as well, you need to know what you're walking into to make a purchase in today's market, and have somebody who advocates for you and understands and is in this market 100% all the time, because it's changing daily.
Okay. And Kyle,
Sir.
we didn't touch on this, but what would you tell somebody if they're getting ready to sell their home, okay, and they had to deal with high interest rates going into the market, that have a little bit of fear, like, I don't know if I should buy or sell, what should I do? But they're really tired of their home. They've been in it. And they say, I got to get out of here.
It's a case-by-case basis. You got to look at somebody's entire financial situation, situation in life. Like, there's just so much more that goes into it on an individual basis. I tell people not to sell. I don't every listing appointment I go into, I don't tell people that, like, yeah, let's do this. Like, no, we have to look at this. Is actually this the right decision? And then we kind of go from there.
Because I think people need to talk through that.
It's a big deal. And so, like, to both of their points, especially with selling a house, we tend to do like 3 to 4 weeks out is how I do it, because it's already so freaking stressful. And, I always tell people, like, all of our timelines are manufactured, right? Like they just are. We do it to have a direction, right? But, like, I don't need to add stress into this situation when I'd rather everybody have a pleasant experience, feel like they have some control over everything, and not just throw it on the market, like you said.
Okay. How did they get a hold of you, Kyle, and what company do you work for?
It's Moore's Property Group with FC.Tucker, 317-649-5122.
And who's your boss?
My wife.
Okay. Stacy, how can somebody get a hold of you, and what company do you work for, please?
Hi there. You can Google Stacy Barry Team. I'm at Century 21 Sheets. You will find all of my information, website, phone number, and anything you may need. And excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And my manager is Jason Engel. I would say my boys are my boss at home.
And Shelly, how can somebody get a hold of you, and who do you work for, Shelly?
Shelly Walters Realty Group, and my cell phone is 317-201-2601. You can reach me anytime.
Okay, who's your boss, Shelly?
Me.
She told us who her boss is. Stacy told us who her boss is. Okay, everybody. Hey, thank you for listening to the show this week. We'll talk to you next week. And next week, we're going to go over Broad Ripple, Meridian Kessler, Mass Avenue. We're going to dig deep on that. So if you're getting ready to look at homes down there, or you want homes here in the Hamilton County area, reach out to us. Thank you.